Have you ever noticed how some landscaping around trees just looks clean, neat, and professional, and others look crooked, uneven, overgrown, and honestly like somebody just guessed at it? Today, I'm going to show you the 2 best ways to make perfect tree rings around any tree. With little effort and low cost, you can make professional looking landscape circles around your trees, plus the best way to make the cut for removing the grass. Also, I'll show you the biggest mistakes people make that can damage or kill a tree over time. And later in this video, I'm going to show you a really easy way to make perfect circles that are exactly the same size every time without using rope or string. So let's get started. Now, before we get started making the circles, one thing I want to mention is that landscaping around trees can vary a lot depending on your climate and location. Some people like mulch, some people prefer rock, some people use ground cover. At our property, we prefer stone, and here's why. We live near a large lake and we get a lot of moisture and shade. When we first moved here, there was mulch everywhere around the trees. But with all that moisture, it got moldy, it washed away during heavy rain, and every single year we were constantly adding more mulch. After a while, we finally decided enough is enough. So we removed all the mulch and switched to stone, and honestly, it was one of the best landscaping decisions we made. It was basically a one-time job, and after several years, we still haven't had to add more rock. Now, that may not be the best choice where you live. If you're in a dry climate, mulch may work great for you. But around here, rock has worked much better long term. So always think about your climate, your rainfall, shade, moisture, and maintenance. That matters more than copying what someone else does online. Now, you may have tried different methods to make nice circles around a tree using a rope, extension cord, or a hose. But to get it just right is a pain and takes more time and effort than is needed, and it's never perfect. So let me show you one of my favorite ways to do this. Now, the first method is the classic string method, and honestly, it works really well. But I found something even better than using string or rope. I prefer using a tie-down strap because it adjusts easily and it stays tight. So what you want to do is loosely wrap the strap around the tree trunk and don't tighten it hard against the bark. You never want to damage a tree. Then simply pull the strap tight while you're walking around a tree with an edger or a shovel. And this gives you a very clean, even circle. Now, this method works great if the trunk is nice and round. But what happens when the trunk is oddly shaped? A lot of trees aren't perfectly round at the base. So you can try moving the string higher up the trunk, but it gets awkward and harder to keep everything centered. Or the tree may be too small to put pressure on. Or you may have a bush that you want to put landscaping around. And that's why I started using this method a lot. This is honestly one of my favorite tricks, PEX pipe. Yep, plumbing pipe, PEX tubing. PEX pipe is flexible enough to bend into perfect circles, but it's rigid enough to hold its shape. It works great for landscaping circles. Plus, you can buy it in 20-foot lengths at most hardware stores. And the nice thing is, you don't need a truck to bring it home. You can simply coil it up, zip tie it, or tape it into smaller circles, and it fits right in your car. I usually buy the 1/2-inch size, and if you have larger trees, just buy a couple of lengths of it. They're really not that expensive. You'll also want one of these connectors or couplers to hold the ends together. Now, once you get home, let the pipe relax a little so it straightens out. Then we need to figure out how long to cut the pipe to make the exact size circle we want. So let's say we want the edge of our landscaping ring to be 2 feet away from this tree trunk, this small tree. That means that our radius is 2 feet or 24 inches. So the diameter would be double that, 4 feet or 48 inches. Now, remember what we learned in school? To find the circumference or perimeter of a circle, the formula is circumference equals pi times diameter. So since we've already determined the diameter is 48 inches or double the radius, then 48 times pi, or easily 3.14, equals 150.72 inches. So let's just round that off to 150 3/4 inches. Now we simply measure the PEX pipe, cut it, insert the coupler, and now we have the perfect circle. And the really nice thing is if you have multiple trees the same size and you want to reuse that exact ring over and over again, you can. So let's see how to position the ring. I like to measure both ways, put the stake in the ground, and then take the ring and put it over the top of those. Now once it's secure, we can start cutting the edge. Now ideally, I prefer using a good spade or an edger for this. Something like this works great. But maybe you don't want to go out and spend another 35 bucks or more on a specialty shovel. Here's another option. Use a reciprocating saw. But here's an important thing to remember before you start to cut anything in the ground. Always check for buried wires and utilities. Seriously. Look how shallow they buried our internet cable here. It'd be very easy to cut through this accidentally. So before digging here, in the United States at least, call 811 or your local utility locating service. In our area, it's free. Now, once you're sure there's nothing underground that you might accidentally cut, here's how we go ahead and cut it with the reciprocating saw. Now, with the short blade in the reciprocating saw, you can carefully cut around the circle, keeping the tool at a 90-degree angle. And just work your way around going at a steady pace. Then, use any shovel to remove the dirt. And better than using a shovel, I like using a pick like this. You don't have to bend so much, and with a little practice, you can easily go to any depth you want and keep it at the same level around the whole circle. It actually works surprisingly well. And real quick, if you can't find the exact tools or products I'm using, check the bottom left side of this video where it says View Products, or scan the QR code over here if you're watching from a TV, and it'll take you right to my Amazon storefront. And just click the category that says As Seen in My Videos, and everything will be right there. You can order it online and it'll be sent right to your front door. Next, we want to remove all the grass from the inside of the circle. Once that's finished, then comes the mulch or the rock. Now this part may surprise some people. I personally do not put landscaping fabric under the rock, and I don't use plastic barriers either. Some people like cardboard, weed barrier cloth, or heavy landscaping fabric. But after years of trying different things, I've personally found this works best. Good edging, proper depth, and a good pre-emergent. Now look at this. This is rock with heavy landscaping fabric underneath. After a couple of years, it's full of weeds, and this one is a thick layer of rock and pre-emergent. You will get some weeds, but we just spray them, or you can burn them off with a torch. So if you only put a shallow layer of rock or pebbles, then expect weeds to come up quickly. But with a deeper layer of rock, like say 4 to 5 inches, the weeds don't come up like they do with less rock. I like using Preen garden weed preventer or pre-emergent. That helps stop weeds before they start. And for us, that works better long term than landscaping fabric does. Because eventually, dirt and organic material build up on top of the fabric anyway, and weeds grow there regardless. Now this next part's really important. If you use mulch or rock, don't pile it up against a tree trunk like a volcano. You see this everywhere, and it's terrible for trees. The base of the tree is called the root flare, and this flare should stay exposed to the air all the time. If you bury it, moisture gets trapped, the trunk can start rotting, insects become a problem, and it can seriously damage or weaken the tree over time. So leave some breathing room around the trunk. Your tree will be much healthier. Another good alternative is ground cover. We like planting phlox. It keeps weeds out, and it looks great in the springtime with the flowers, and then it stays green for the rest of the growing season. We also like ferns or hostas under our trees. That's a good alternative to rock or mulch. Well, there you go. 2 different ways to make clean, professional-looking tree rings around your landscaping. And honestly, once you do a few of these, it gets much easier. And if you're interested in adding landscaping brick or block around the tree ring, I'll be making a video showing how to calculate the perfect circle size when using any size brick, and how to avoid the need to cut bricks, even how to make a no-dig tree ring or landscape edge with bricks. So depending on when you see this video, I'll put a link for it right up here and also at the end of the video. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And share it with somebody who loves landscaping projects that you think this might be helpful to them. And remember, leave a comment down below. and share with others your favorite landscaping tips. We learn from each other, and this is what this channel is all about. Helping you with your repairs, saving you money, and staying safe at it. If you have any other repairs or improvements that you need help with, just leave a comment below and I'll try to answer any questions you have, or I'll make a video about it. Well, thanks for watching. You take care and God bless.